Marty Supreme is one of those films that lingers long after the credits roll, a story layered with obsession, performativity, humiliation, and the messy consequences of choices. Today we're diving deep into the climax and ending of Marty Supreme, exploring how Marty's life, his performative actions, and his final decisions all converge to create one of the most thought-provoking endings in recent cinema. Please note, spoiler warning. From the very beginning, Marty is a character obsessed with perception. He wants to be the best, the supreme, but almost everything he does is performative. He doesn't just play table tennis, he performs it for himself, for Milton Rockwell, and for the audiences that follow him. Even in moments where he loses, he spins the narrative, manipulates circumstances, and maintains a carefully constructed image. Every con, every lie, every hustle is designed to control how the world sees him, to avoid humiliation at all costs. And humiliation is central to the understanding of Marty. It's the invisible thread weaving through his choices. He's excluded from the official table tennis tournament, dismissed by Rockwell, and constantly put in situations where the world challenges his worth. Every setback in the story reinforces the fear of being exposed, of being powerless, or seen as less than he imagines himself. Marty's life is a constant negotiation between striving for glory and avoiding shame, and this tension drives almost every scene in the film. Now let's talk about the climactic match against Endo, because this is where Marty's inner world collides with reality in the most visceral way. He's offered a chance to throw the match, to play the scripted performance, and yet he refuses. On one level, this is about pride. He's tired of humiliation and tired of being a puppet. But it's also about authenticity. For the first time, Marty chooses to engage with something that is unmediated, unperformed. He doesn't charm, manipulate, or cheat. He simply wins. And the win isn't for fame or validation, it's for himself. He's stepping out of this cycle of performativity, rejecting the need to stage his life for spectators and finally experiencing something real. What's fascinating here is how this choice intersects with the film's exploration of chaos. Marty has spent the entire movie as an agent of disruption, leaving destruction in his wake. He cons, he steals, he endangers Rachel, and his obsession with ego and skill leaves a trail of collateral damage. The baby's cry at the end is a perfect encapsulation of this theme. It's immediate, unavoidable, and raw. The cry reminds Marty and us that reality doesn't accommodate ego or spectacle. Life is messy, uncontrollable, and consequences are unavoidable. It's almost accusatory, as if the world itself is holding a mirror up to all the chaos Marty has created. The convergence of these elements, refusal of performativity, confrontation with the real consequences, and the messy new responsibility presented by Rachel's child forms a thematic triangle that defines the ending. Marty's tears in response to the baby aren't a tidy redemption, they're acknowledgement. He has chosen something real, yes, but it's difficult, chaotic, and humbling. And this is what makes the ending so compelling. It's not about Marty winning or achieving glory or even redeeming himself fully. It's about confronting life unfiltered. It's about stepping into human experience in a way he has never before. Now the film also gives us moments that emphasize how performative Marty's life has been up to this point. From hustling his interactions with Rockwell, every action has been staged, calculated, or manipulated, and the Endo match is the pivot. By rejecting Rockwell's scripted game, Marty stops performing entirely. He doesn't use words to negotiate his place. He doesn't charm his way into recognition or material benefit. He plays, he wins, and then returns home cheaply and directly. His actions are grounded, they're human, they're authentic. And in that return, he faces the crying baby, a chaotic symbol that life isn't about performance. So what does this mean for Marty as a character? For one, it reframes the entire narrative. Up to this point, the audience is complicit in celebrating Marty's cunning, cleverness, and ability to manipulate reality. But the final act forces us to recognize that Marty is still deeply flawed. The crying baby reminds us that actions have consequences, that chaos exists independently of ego, and that reality is more demanding than any audience. It's the first time Marty cannot control the frame, he cannot spin the moment, he cannot manipulate. And yet he engages with it fully and emotionally. The film is also making a point about what it means to choose real connection over spectacle. Marty has spent so much of his life in pursuit of the supreme skill, supreme recognition, supreme image. The Endo match and the return to Rachel mark the moment where he places human connection above all of that. It's messy, it's chaotic, but it's real. And the tears show that he understands the cost. Another interesting layer here is how humiliation and authenticity interact in this triangle. Marty has been humiliated repeatedly, whether through exclusion, rejection, or forced performance, and yet humiliation is also what catalyzes the authenticity we see at the end. Without the cumulative weight of shame, rejection, and exposure, Marty wouldn't have reached a point where he could choose something real. The humiliation he's endured primes him to reject performativity, to face chaos honestly, and to confront the human responsibility symbolized by the baby. This is what makes the film's ending resonate. It's messy, but it's earned. It's not triumph in a traditional sense, it's growth through confrontation with reality, and that growth is ambiguous. We're left asking questions. Is Marty truly changed, or is he simply exhausted? Will this newfound authenticity endure, or is it a momentary respite before he falls back into ego-driven chaos? The film doesn't provide answers, and that's intentional. Safdie wants the audience to sit with the discomfort. Marty Supreme refuses easy moral closure. It's messy, chaotic, human. Another question worth asking: do you think Marty's choice to reject the performative match is a victory or a failure? Is the endo win significant if it doesn't result in fame or recognition? Or is the true victory in choosing something authentic for the first time? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And what about the baby crying at the end? Do you interpret it as a punishment, a mirror of Marty's chaos, or a symbol of potential redemption? The beauty of the film is that all of these readings are valid simultaneously. It's a layered, nuanced depiction of a character finally facing life in its full complexity. One more subtle point worth exploring: Marty's return to Rachel without fanfare, without rewards, without negotiation, reinforces the idea that reality doesn't bend for ego. He could have tried to charm, manipulate, or negotiate his way into the hospital or into recognition, but he doesn't. He simply engages with what is real, messy, and unavoidable. That choice echoes throughout the film's narrative, tying together the arc of humiliation, the rejection of performative life, and the confrontation with chaos. It's a masterstroke of thematic storytelling. So in summary, Marty Supreme's final act isn't about winning, fame, or traditional redemption. It's about rejecting performative existence, stepping into authenticity, and facing chaos head-on. The climactic choice against endo marks Marty's first real act of autonomy that isn't performative. The crying baby functions as both a mirror and a punctuation mark, showing us that reality is uncontrollable, messy, and deeply human. Humiliation throughout the film primes Marty for this moment, creating a narrative triangle where shame leads to authenticity and authenticity exposes the consequences of chaos. Humiliation throughout the film primes Marty for this moment, creating a narrative triangle where shame leads to authenticity and authenticity exposes the consequences of chaos. It's complicated, uncomfortable, and brilliant. Marty's tears are not about triumph or failure in the conventional sense. They're about finally engaging with a life that isn't staged, a life that is chaotic, demanding, and real. And that is what makes Marty Supreme resonate long after the screen goes dark. So I want to hear from you. What did the crying baby at the end signify for you? Do you see Marty's climactic choice as a moment of authenticity, a rebellion against humiliation, or confrontation with the chaos he's sown? Or maybe all three? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this film is designed to make us talk about it, dissect it, and live in its discomfort long after its final frame. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.